Okay, we'll delve into the upcoming CV rework and AA mechanics change, which is about the 20th of these we've had. We've had CV reworks happening since, well, basically since release, since they started in 2018 with their CV rework. And AA changes, well, they keep changing them all the time. I will highly caution you to take anything you read here, anything you read in this article, to take it with a gigantic pinch of salt, because historically, what they tell us they want to give us, or what they promise us, is not what we get at all. They tend to be very, very different. They do explain what they're aiming to do. The problem is they often explain, oh, this is what we're aiming to do, but what they actually give us is completely different. Completely different. Like, again, this was the original devlog from 5 years ago. This was the original devlog where they announced their CV rework from RTS in 0.8.0. And their promises were, that's what we would like to achieve. Adequate complexity curve of aircraft carrier, which implies smooth skill growth. Enjoyable gameplay that will be attractive for most players, give more space for resourcefulness of aircraft carrier and its targets as well, create a balanced integrated class that will enrich the game without ruining it for others, increase aircraft carriers' popularity, and enhance AA defense ships. This was their promise 5 years ago. 5 years ago, this was their promise regarding their rework. Obviously, everything they promised they were aiming to achieve was horseshit. The skill complexity curve, they completely dropped off a cliff because they had to dumb it down because the player base couldn't adapt at all. The enjoyable gameplay turned into absolute Ebola to anyone who was being targeted. Balanced integrated class, they have to ban it permanently from all forms of competitive because it's never been playable. In fact, RTS carriers used to be a part of team battles. CV rework carriers, they tried it in one COTS and then never again because it broke the game so badly. It was completely unplayable. And the reason for that is because they completely nerfed all AA builds. They systematically butchered every single AA build. They nerfed the AA ranges on all ships. They butchered every single AA build. They butchered all AA consumables. Defensive AA, no one runs it if you can run Hydro. Fighter plane, no one runs it if you can run Spotter. And they also butchered what shit. Oh yeah, they butchered just across the board every form of counterplay. It just everything about AA was just it's all DPS based now. Yeah, no, you could, and also they butchered all manual control for AA. The flak damage, no, flak didn't even exist then back, but they basically they killed the captain builds, they killed the consumables, they killed the upgrades. They killed the upgrades, the AA upgrades that you could slot. They killed those. Nowadays there's that really dumb upgrade no one slots anymore, the 20% faster sector cooldown. Like, so I want to preface with this because I have seen what they promise. I have seen what they state that their aims are, what their goals are. And then I have witnessed over 5 years now what they actually gave us. So, massive pinch of salt when it comes to what this company promises and what they actually deliver. I remember Moskva with 8.6 km AA range. I remember Minotaur with 8.2 km AA range. I remember all the convenient changes that made AA so much worse, but didn't affect carriers at all. Like, there was a very different game back then. I remember defensive AA spreading attacks. I remember fighter planes actually defending you because they had the same effect. If a fighter tagged the squad, they would spread the attack. Like, everything about that is butchered. So, let's see. We've been working on addressing several issues in the interaction between aircraft carriers and surface ships highlighted by the community over the past few years. It's almost like your CV rework was really, really bad. After extensive brainstorming and initial testing, we're now ready to roll out a concept that we presented earlier for the players to test and share their feedback with us. Everyone's feedback regarding this has been just do minimap spotting. Like, okay, let's see.
Hello, I'm Shvercha and I'm...
Okay, I'm not gonna watch that right now. We can watch it later. But I'm just gonna say, no one is impressed by your incredible design. Look, all you guys had to do was give planes minimap spotting. They're acting like they needed to do some sort of super brainstorming, super development, super whatever. No, they didn't. All they needed to do was give us minimap spotting. But the problem is, community has been asking for it. The developer doesn't want to give it, so now they see it as a weakness to give it to us. So they're gonna give us anything except what we actually want. So, listening to feedback is of course bullshit, because the feedback has been, wow, this is convoluted and dumb, we want minimap spotting. That's been the feedback, and they've ignored all of it, so. We shared a rough outline of our plans, and I've been polishing it ever since, bro. You can't polish a turd. Now, after a series of closed tests and reviews of tester feedback, we can finally share what we've been working on, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Bro, you already know our thoughts. They mention feedback, your thoughts. Our thoughts has been communicated very clearly across multiple different mediums, and it's all been ignored. Well, I don't know why they still pretend. Why do they still pretend? Main issues we're aiming to tackle. Spotting. Aircraft cameras provide constant yet intermittent spotting that can greatly influence the flow of battle for surface ships. Yes, minimap spotting. AA defenses don't feel sufficiently powerful for surface ships, but feels relatively strong for carrier. Yeah, that's because you give them the best AA values. This, once again, this is very easily fixable. You give Hakuryu 14 flak and you give Montana, what, 8 flak. Of course Hakuryu AA is gonna feel better. Like, it's a numbers game. You did this. Focus. Being targeted by an aircraft carrier can be extremely frustrating, especially if your AA doesn't feel impactful. Yes, once again, that's a combination of spotting and incredible damage output. If you remove the spotting from it, so I can actually dodge the carrier without being nuked by the entire enemy team, the frustration goes down. Our goal is to reuse spotting our all. Yeah, if only there was a solution to this. And to make it a conscious choice that comes at a cost, even if that cost is simply time and risking planes, while removing unintentional spotting. If only there was some way to fix all these issues you're talking about. Another goal is to make AA more impactful while ensuring aircraft carriers remain viable in battles. Bro, ensuring aircraft carriers remain viable. Carriers have been overpowered since release. They've been overpowered since the RTS day, and they've been overpowered since the CV rework day. They've always been overpowered. The idea that we have to carefully pinpoint them to remain viable. No, you want them to remain overpowered. Because your current gameplay is so uninteresting that no one would fucking play carriers if they weren't broken. That's really what it comes down to. No one would be interested in playing this class if it wasn't busted. If you suddenly give carriers the same type of carry power in a game, like a fucking BB or a cruiser, no one would fucking play it anymore, because it would be so uninteresting to play the shit. The only reason it's popular is because it's broken. We will believe the changes outlined below will make the game more satisfying for both sides. In the current iteration, the changes don't affect hybrid ships. We're still considering our course of action regarding them, and we'll share more information as we proceed. Oh, God forbid adding more mechanics to a hybrid ship. They already don't know how to use their main guns, so that's not gonna work. Additionally, we're working on update interactions with fighters and plan to expand this in the future. However, we aren't ready to implement those changes in the current test. Yeah, the fact that you made fighters for some reason take 15 hours to lock onto enemy planes is probably the main issue. They added an artificial delay where the guy gets to strike and fly away, and only then does the fighter plane tag them. Like, bro. They have Stevie Wonder in the cockpit of the fighter plane, and they're wondering why people don't like it. Test details. Tomorrow, I have downloaded this. For those who are aware, by the way, how to download and install the game client, you have to go and install an additional instance in the World of Warships tabs, and you have to select the TST client to download it. This client is literally exactly the same as the normal client in terms of size. It's 64 gigabytes. So despite the fact that there's only a handful of ships in it, and they only need to add high tier maps and anything. They haven't done any parsing. They haven't stripped away any of the useless low tier maps, any of the useless stuff. They have the entire client that you have to download again. So it's a 64 gig install, like literally zero streamlining to make this more accessible. So if you want to play this during the test, I recommend putting the download on now, because especially with Wargaming Patcher, it's gonna take some time to get it done. Efficient coding, yeah. No, like I like everything that's in the normal client is in this one. It's just not accessible. So zero effort put into this. Yeah, you can register here. Rewards, yeah, they still want people to play that, so their giveaway of Enterprise and Musashi. 5 of each these ships will be randomly distributed to players to complete special. Okay. Play 10 random battles in destroy cruiser battleships to enter a raffle. 5 in total. Man, this is for all servers probably, isn't it? I would assume so. Yeah, it's for everyone taking part on the test server. 5 in total. Anyway, let's look at what... This is pre-phase. Let's look at what they're actually doing then. The general flow of the battle for aircraft carriers has changed. The general flow, sit and spawn and launch planes. Truly an incredible flow. Currently, carriers operate in one state and that has the same rules for spotting, attacking, etc. However, in this iteration, similarly to the concept we introduced initially, planes will operate at either low or high altitudes. High altitude is represented by the travel mode, and you have 2 ways to operate at low altitude: attack mode or the new recon mode. Each mode has specific features and limitations. High altitude. Okay, let's see. Travel mode. Planes can't spot opponents, can see opponents spotted by allies, can see opponents spotted by the carrier itself. Planes travel at maximum speed, can't be targeted by AA, can't take damage from fighters, can start attack mode or recon mode recharges. So, just complete immunity to fly wherever you want with this. So technically, in the past, if there was an AA ship that you had to avoid to some extent, now you just travel above it and strike behind it. I'm already seeing an issue here with potential striking other carriers. Will this make striking the enemy CV much more appealing if you can just travel mode across all the surface ships and go for the CV in the back? We'll see. Attack mode. Planes can spot opponents. Planes travel at cruising speeds. Can be targeted by both AA and fighters. Plane take reduced damage during the first seconds of descent. Once planes descend, the attack starts automatically. Okay. So you instant go in for an attack, you take reduced damage. Do you still have the immunity though? They don't mention that. Because a lot of these squads, for example fighter planes, if they take reduced damage when they go in for the attack, and then when they dive for the attack, they become immune to damage. Because right now, rocket planes become entirely immune to all forms of damage. Actually, a lot of them. Because right now it looks like you go from travel mode, where you can't be targeted by AA, to diving mode, where you take reduced damage, into attack mode, where you're immune to damage, followed by a strike, after which you go back to travel mode, and then you're immune to AA again. No, that can't be right, because that sounds pretty fucking demented. Because that only leaves a very small window where you can actually do anything about it. That sounds kind of demented, surely not. They don't say anything about removing the immunity. We'll have to see it tomorrow. But recon mode. Activated by pressing Q. Can be activated in travel. Okay, so when you're traveling, you can press Q to go into recon mode. Lasts a limited amount of time. Wait, it's a consumable, like? Activating recon mode reserves a specific portion of time from the timer. After initial activation, the timer continues to go down while you stay in recon. So it's a consumable. Returns to travel mode once you run out of recon time or press Q. If the timer simply runs out, the reserved time will become available again. If you return to travel mode prematurely or choose to attack, the reserved time will be lost. Planes can be targeted by both AA and fighters. So this is about spotting mode. Men Tony har just... Okay. This seems very convoluted. So, How does a surface ship know if you're going for recon mode or if you're going for attack mode? If both involve the plane descending a bit. I guess you don't. Can't you just bait out consumables by going into recon mode and then canceling it and have them blow their shit and then you come back with attack mode? Travel mode. In early announcements, we introduced the concept of travel mode to address the issues with spotting. Yes, because there were no other solutions to this problem. Several key aspects define the state, so let's break them down. Travel mode involves flying at high altitude, where your planes can't spot enemies, but they can see opponents spotted by your allies. Planes can be spotted by other planes and surface ships while operating in travel mode. The engine boost bar and engine cooling consumable will be removed. Instead, planes will always move at maximum speed to help you reach targets quickly, minimizing the time needed to move around the map and allowing more active gameplay. Yo, why wouldn't these guys go for, like, carrier snipes? This seems like this is fucking tailor-made for carrier snipes. You ignore AA, you have permanent giga speed. But this is also going to make them much more dangerous on everywhere on the map. Because they're just perma super fast across the map. And immune to AA. In fact, if you see someone in the corner map and you want to kill him, in the past you had to avoid AA to some extent and waste a lot of time getting there. Now you just straight to him and go for the attack. This seems awful for every surface ship. Additionally, you won't be targetable by AA fighters, but you will take damage from fighters. That's the only thing you have to avoid. In other words, this mode allows you to travel across the map quickly and rather safely. However, you have to rely on spotting from your teammates to identify targets. Oh, horror. Oh, horror. It's important to note that in previous iterations, defensive AA could reach planes at high altitude. This will no longer be the case. Dude, they're already toning down all the counterplay. They're already toning down the fucking... Oh my god. So it's complete immunity. All you need to do is not get tagged by the fighters then. Based on the feedback from the close test, we decided to separate actions for low and high altitude. So now while in travel modes, your planes can only be attacked by hostile aircraft. Yeah. Oh my god. That was quick, man. Oh, defensive AA fire is almost useful again? Up, gotta fucking nerf it. That didn't fucking take long. Initially, we also presented a new consumable, Active Reconnaissance, that was supposed to help aircraft carriers locate enemy ships while in travel mode, but after testing we have abandoned the idea. Active Reconnaissance didn't provide enough useful information for players, in other words, they probably didn't know how to use it. Yet if we decided to make it any stronger, it would become a must before making an attack. Instead, aircraft carriers will have a different spotting tool. We will get to it in a moment. Jesus. Where's the speed? They're not showing the speed anymore? Am I blind or do I not see a speed here anywhere? Because, like, if they're giga traveling now. Holy fuck, they're so fucking... Oh, here he goes in for attack mode. Jesus. Fucking fast, are they? And then he goes back in... Wait, he went straight back into trouble mode. Huh? Okay, well, let's see. Attack mode. Like for the current implementation, aircraft carriers can initiate an attack by pressing the left mouse button. This is a very challenging gameplay. As the descent from high altitude starts, the aircraft can spot enemy ships and the attacking flight will become targetable by AA fire. For the first few seconds, the planes take reduced damage from AA. Why? If they can spot you, why can't... If they have their effective reconnaissance, their spotting mechanic, why don't you have effective counter mechanics? The planes will travel at cruising speed, and you can slow down if necessary. This preparation time is required to prevent aircraft carriers from simply starting an attack right above the ship and avoiding most of the AA. Planes will, however, not have reduced maneuverability during the attack preparation time compared to the current mechanic, which will make it a bit easier for the carrier to strike when there are no allies nearby to spot the target. A bit easier. No reduced maneuverability. That's why it looked so fucking wonky when he fucking did the turn. That's why it looked so weird. This, because holy fuck, look at that handling. Jesus, it's like subs all over again, where they fucking, where they give them like giga maneuverability. Just dodge, just dodge. Okay, cool. Once the planes have descended, attack mode will start automatically. Attack mode involves one attack in flight, and the rest of the squadron remains at high altitudes outside of the reach of AA fire. Each part of the squadron can receive damage separately. For example, the attacking flight will take AA damage, while the rest of the planes can get damaged by enemy fighters. Any aircraft destroyed in the attack mode won't be replaced, meaning that shooting down planes will directly reduce the damage dealt by the attack. That's at least good, but considering it can pop out right on top of you, full HP completely untouched, and it handles like that. If the entire attacking flight is destroyed, the run is aborted and you switch to the part of the squadron in travel mode. There's another important thing to note. Every time you attack, the planes will regroup, so the attacking flight will consist of the planes with the most HP left. More heavily damaged planes will stay at high altitude. So it automatically cycles the low HP ship planes to the immunity area. As with the current design, you can always press F during the attack to abandon it and return the whole squadron to the aircraft carrier. Oh boy. Recon mode. I just don't understand how doing all of this is somehow a simpler solution than minimap spotting. Look, if fighter planes were even remotely useful, if fighter plane was even remotely usable, it might be worth it. But the problem is the fighter plane is so giga trash. This there. Remember, there's actually well, I'm not gonna look for it now, but there's that meme of the fighter consumable where the surface ship and a bomber squad is fighting, and then the fighter plane is breakdancing next to them. I assume you have seen it. But that means the fighter no longer attack the attacking flight, so they don't impede the strike. True. Recon mode is completely new spotting tool. It allows you to briefly descend from travel mode to spot opponents like planes currently can. You can activate it by pressing Q button while in travel mode. You can skip the preparation and start the attack while in recon mode if you see a suitable target. However, keep in mind that during recon mode, your planes will be vulnerable to hostile AA fire and the damage won't be reduced. Ooh! Essentially, you trade the safety of the descent for an opportunity to spot opponents and start the attack quicker. Oh, poor thing. Recon mode is tied to a timer. Activating it reserves a specific amount from the timer. During the test, the full timer is 60 seconds, and each activation of recon mode will immediately reserve 30 seconds. As you fly in recon mode, the timer will go down, and when it reaches 0, your planes will automatically ascend back to travel mode, and the reserved time will become available to you. I'm gonna assume that you can game this so that when you're at 29 seconds, you go in for an attack, and then you just like attack the water or whatever, and you get more spotting out of your planes while the cooldown goes down. It's probably going to be pretty easy to game this. And the reserve time, you can press Q before the timer runs out to return to travel mode for safety. However, the reserve time will be lost. The same applies if you decide to launch an attack. Okay. So you lose the reserve time then. They have thought of that. This will prevent players from constantly diving in and out. Oh, they learned. You know what this reminds me a lot of? Dolphining. Submarines dolphining. In fact, a lot of these mechanics remind me a lot of dolphining. Like, this travel mode is kind of like subs being at maximum depth. They're immune to everything, and they can go wherever they want. And then you have this attack mode or recon mode, which is kind of like periscope depth, where they can actually take some damage and be spotted. It's inverse submarines. Yeah, it reminds me very much. And this is like them thinking of the submarine dolphining, except from the top to the bottom. And the fact that they're inspired by their current submarine mode, or their current submarine design to make carriers, is fucking terrifying to me, because the whole implementation of subs is like the worst implementation of that class I've ever seen in any game. But this very much reminds me of subs with different depths or different altitudes. It looks exactly. It looks like subs in the sky, basically. That's what all of this reminds me of. Mm. Manual control. We're happy to present a feature that was widely requested by carrier players. While not controlling aircraft, you'll be able to manually control the secondary guns of your carriers. You know who widely requested this before carrier players did? Battleship players. We requested this for years. Years and years and years. We wanted this instead of AI gunners. And you didn't, because, well, it probably is probably a technical problem, because they don't know how to untangle their spaghetti code so that you can shoot 2 different caliber guns. They don't know how to do that. But now they're giving it the carriers. This provides an additional layer of gameplay for them. For example, in case when you must confront an enemy that has gotten too close, or you run out of planes during the late game. When you run out of planes. I'm sorry, did you not just fucking install a factory that churns out planes on every single carrier in the game? Run out of planes? I'm sorry, since when? You fucking build them on your carrier. In the case of carriers with mixed secondary armaments, you'll be able to control the largest. Yeah, this is what this. You see this? This is exactly what I just said. It's their fucking spaghetti code. They don't know how to make it so that you can control a big gun and a small gun at the same time. Their code doesn't allow it, and they don't know how to untangle their code anymore. And that's why they didn't give manual secondaries to BBs, because you had to control a big gun and your secondary guns. So that's why for carriers you'll only be able to control the biggest gun, and everything else is uncontrollable. It's their shitty coding that they just don't know how to untangle anymore. They will quite literally become the main caliber, while the smallest caliber guns will be considered your secondaries. While operating aircraft, all guns will be controlled by AI as usual. If a carrier doesn't have any secondary guns, it will operate as it did before. While you manually control the guns, they will have greater range and precision than when controlled by AI. The main battery guns on aircraft carriers will have comparable characteristics to those of destroyers of their tier, but with reduced accuracy. When controlling a carrier, you must manually use the damage control. Wait, no. Once you launch your planes, the consumable will become automatic again. Wait, so you get best of both worlds? You get the brain damage version, and then if you manually control, you get the... Okay, cool. So best of both worlds. So they get something all the other classes have been asking for ages. This is kind of drunk, though. Because, like, tier 10 CVs have really insane secondaries. Like, Nakimov has Smolensk main guns as their secondaries. Graf Zeppelin has mines main guns as its secondaries. This is gonna make it completely unplayable for any gunboat trying to kill a carrier. This will make it you'll never be able to kill a carrier with a gunboat anymore, because it's literally gonna be shooting you. Hakurio has 2 Naharugumos. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. This is gonna make it completely unplayable for any gunboat trying to gun down a carrier, because he's gonna shoot back with like fucking twice the DPM. This is fucking brutal. Like, this is actually really fucking brutal. Like, let's not forget this. Like, you want to go gun down a Hakuria? Except now it no longer suffers from reduction in dispersion or anything. So you literally have a better chance gunning down a Schlieffen now in a gunboat than you do gunning down a Hakuria. Hope they don't do anything about the range. Hope it stays this low. Because, like, otherwise it's gonna be fucking Ebola as hell. Like, Nakimov. Jesus. Let's hope they don't touch the range, man. CVs are now more hybrid BBs than hybrid BBs. Okay, so this is all the things, all the goodies and gimmicks the CVs get. Now let's see what do they give to the surface ships. Oh yeah, didn't they say they give extra range? While you manually control the guns, they will have greater range and precision. Yeah. So, okay, they already took that into account. Enjoy. Changes to surface ships. One of the issues we see in the game is that there are several AA options, but they don't feel powerful and often do the same thing, which is nothing. Moreover, if a ship's AA defenses are weak by default, using extra tools doesn't make much difference. They are only useful if the ship had strong AA weaponry from the start. You know what would be a good solution to this? If the defensive AA consumable added a debuff to the accuracy of the incoming strike. Oh wait, that's the way it was during RTS carriers. So that way, even a weak AA ship could run defensive AA to have some protection against carriers. But you removed that, and now you realize, turns out the player base doesn't enjoy that. That's crazy. We want to provide more tools for surface ships to protect themselves and their allies against carriers. So let's dive straight into it. Okay, manual AA. Only affects planes at low altitude. Covers the whole AA area around the ship. Used reactively. Deals percentage damage within AA range proportional to the squadron's health. Ugh, so it's the same. It's the same as fucking current one. The problem is percentage damage proportional to squadron's health means if the squadron has very little health, then this will do pitiful damage. Used reactively. Updated defensive AFR. Only affects planes at low altitude. Used preemptively. Wait, so you need to use it before it goes in for an attack? Increases the ship's AA range to 7, increases AA damage. If activated before the planes enter the extended AA range, prevents them from spotting any ships and planes, boosts automatic AA progress to 50. Automatic AA. Okay, so automatic AA only affects planes at low altitude. Progress passively increases as your AA deals damage to planes. Activates automatically. So it's a gimmick, like a charge-up gimmick that activates based on your AA. Works for an extended period, increases AA damage, increases damage caused by manual AA, reduces manual AA cooldown. And my worry with this entire thing is, okay, luckily not a lot of CVs will understand this, but back during RTS era, a very common thing you would do is you'd go in for an attack, and then you waited until they popped their cooldown, and then you just backed off. And considering these new CV, back then, that usually cost you some planes, but considering now you can instantly go up into flying mode, which makes you immune to AA, can't the carrier just go in for an attack, wait and see if this guy pops the defensive AA, and the second he pops it, or if he pops it preemptively so you go blind, you just fucking go up into the sky to immunity, and then you wait there for 30-40 seconds for it to run out, and then you come back in and attack. Like, that does prevent the attack, yes, but the problem here is, of course, defensive AA fire is a highly limited consumable. Most ships have 3 of them. And that's it. And considering how many dudes are gonna pop the button if you go in for a squad of a group of them and then you just go into immunity. Don't look at this image. What is that image? Natari. I mean, yeah, preventing the attack implies the attack doesn't happen. This doesn't prevent the attack, it delays the attack. Wait, is that midway? What midway range is that? Wait, is that... Wait, what kind of range? Is that secondary? Menu secondary midway. What do you mean check the minimap? This is the only picture there. No fucking way. It's in the video? Wait. Oh fuck! Oh no way. There's no way. No. It is. It is. So, he's got 15.6 km secondaries? What the fuck are they doing? The conceal is this, and the other thing is range. Bro, what the fuck? Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm really worried about this just being like, you're gonna be like this is gonna once again the issue that already exists now with carriers being exponentially stronger the longer the game goes on, because people run out of consumables and they run out of AA modules because AA breaks, whereas planes regen. I feel like this is gonna become even worse now. Hmm. We've improved several aspects of the priority sector. It won't be just a sector anymore. When activated, it will cover the whole AA area around the ship and will now be called manual AA. Okay, that's good, because the current sector design is fucking dog shit. I hate the current sector design. The issue is, if this is a ship and a squadron comes in and he goes like this, you activate left side, and then he goes like this, then suddenly you've nerfed your AA. It's a really retarded design. So at least that's good. When activated, it will cover the whole AA area around the ship and will never be called manual AA. Like the current implementation, manual AA can be activated with the press of a button and takes effect within your AA range. It instantly deals a percentage of damage proportional to the squadron's health. In other words, it should be used reactively to deal burst damage to enemy planes. But they've nerfed that. Like manual AA is one of those things that used when it first came out, it was pretty good. Then every patch they've nerfed it. Nowadays it's kind of meme worth it. Manual AA will not increase AA damage. Oh, they used to do that in the past. It does it right now. It gives you like a boost of damage. It no longer does that. Now it's just like a small burst, I guess. Just a blip. In previous iterations, we changed priority sector to active concealment as a completely new concept. One of its main features was the ability to prevent planes from spotting if they enter its range when activated. After gathering data and feedback from close testing, we chose to abandon this idea. The mechanics felt too complicated and the players had to interact with it constantly. After some consideration, we decided it would be better to move this effect to defensive AA fire to highlight the unique role of the consumable. Oh yeah, they first they said you were gonna be able to blind the carrier with the sector reinforcement. It will also help aircraft carriers. They will know that only ships with this specific consumable will be able to prevent them from spotting. Okay. Another issue has often been voiced by the community. It can feel extremely frustrating to be targeted by aircraft for a prolonged period. We want to disincentivize aircraft carriers from relentlessly focusing on a single target, so we're adding another defensive tool for surface ships. While your AA is shooting enemy aircraft, a special progress bar will passively charge up. This progress isn't time limited, so even if your AA weaponry isn't shooting at the enemy aircraft for a certain period, progress will stay the same and won't decay. Once your progress reaches 100%, a passive bonus will automatically activate, unless your AA is disabled. The effect will last for several minutes and won't reset if you disable your AA. Okay, it provides the following effect: bonus to AA damage, bonus to damage caused by manual AA, reduction in manual AA cooldown. It will last for minutes. If they actually keep it like that, so it lasts for minutes, then that's pretty nice. But it's another spell, though. Like, if you just look away from the design thing and just look at it from a game, like a fucking gameplay perspective, it's another spell. But if it lasts for several minutes, so you can't just bait that shit out, it means that if you're pushing a flank and the carrier is there and trying to push and kill the carrier, you can probably build up to this thing, and then the carrier actually has to pay for targeting you, which sounds pretty interesting. It sounds pretty interesting. But obviously, this will only help you if you already have good AA, as always. It will probably help you only if you already have good. Yeah, it depends on how much it gives you. Depends on how much it gives you. That's obviously the values. They don't give us any values. They just say bonus. So this might get nerfed to oblivion as well. We'll see. Updated defensive AA fire. In this iteration, several major changes have been applied to the defensive AA fire consumable. During the close testing, defensive AA fire could reach planes in travel mode, but we decided to remove this feature. Now it can only affect planes at low altitude. I don't really like this because this means that, like, I don't like that they did this because this means the planes in travel mode are completely immune to all forms of anti-air. The only thing that can touch them is fighter planes, but they're moving at maximum speed permanently. So it's very easy for them to just fly around the fighter planes. So they're just going to be completely untouchable in the sky. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And you also don't know if they're going to drop down for an attack or not. Like, you'll see them fucking fly above you and go on your flank. And then you're like, is it going to attack or not? I don't know. But you're going to have to prepare for the eventuality that what if it drops down and attacks. And then he might not. He might just fucking loiter there, force you to angle just by existing. Like, it seems obnoxious for the surface ship to deal with. Travel mode just waste your AA consumable because they just fly out at max speed and also grief you because you get spotted. Yeah, that was the previous one. Honestly, I don't really think I like either version. Okay. Once activated, defensive AA fire increases both the AA range to 7 km for all ships and damage of your ship. What about ships that already have good AA range, though? Like, if you have good AA range, the benefit you get from this is much smaller. Whereas if you got shit AA range, like 4.6 or something, then this is huge. The single ship has 6. No, not after they nerfed that. Not after they nerfed that ship. You can't really build AA range anymore, like the way you used to. But you have what? Where is it? Yoda has 6.9, for example. Light cruisers have 6.9. So light cruisers are probably going to get like the smallest benefit from the range increase, because it's just going to go from 6.9 to 7. Additionally, it will completely prevent planes from spotting. However, defensive air fire should be used preemptively and not reactively, as the effect will only trigger on enemy planes if they enter the expanded AA range while the consumable is active. So if I want this to be useful, even if planes even come my way, regardless of attacking or whatever, I have to pop it then. I feel like you're going to cycle through your defensive AAs really quickly. Under the effect, planes won't be able to spot any ships or any ships or planes themselves, but they can still see ships spotted by allies, as well as tracers and AA bubbles. So it doesn't actually blind them then if you're surface spotted. It doesn't really do anything if you're surface spotted. It just gives you range and damage, but it doesn't actually have any of the blinding effect if you're surface spotted. As you activate defensive AA, the automatic AA progress bars will rise to 50%. We capped it at 50 because we don't want players with defensive AA to always have access to automatic AA. Okay. There might be like, it might be worth, if you're going to play a flank or something, to just pop defensive AA and spawn. Pop defensive AA and then turn off AA to turn it off, just to get the progress bar to 50. Like, seems kind of demented, but whatever. I mean, that's probably what I'd do. Well, it depends on the values. How much does defensive AA give us? It doesn't say. How much does automatic AA give us? It doesn't say. But getting the 50% boost is certainly, probably might be worth it. We'll see. To indicate that it's been activated, the defensive AA fire will have a special visual effect. Okay. Okay. Wow. Man, that's a lot of work just to not have to give us minimap spotting. I think you forgot the last sentence in the recon mode. In the one? Oh. As you fly in recon mode, the timer will go down. When it reaches 0, planes will automatically ascend travel. You can press Q, timer runs out travel mode. Same applies if you decide to launch an attack. This will prevent players from constantly diving in and out. For 1 second spent in travel mode, you will recover 2.5 seconds of recon mode. Yeah, they've literally just made it a submarine. They made the planes submarines. You recharge your oxygen when you're flying in travel mode. You recharge your oxygen and then you go in. you go in for your spotting and then you go up there again to recharge your oxygen. Like they kind of made these things inverse submarines. They made these things into inverse subs. It's weird. It's really strange. All this just to not have to give us minimap spotting. Okay, let's see.
Hello, I'm Shvercha and I'm here with some exciting news about the aircraft carrier and anti-aircraft weaponry changes that we previously announced. We've done lots of testing and collected community feedback, and now we're finally ready to share the results of all that work with you. Watch this video to learn more, but first, a small disclaimer. Our team is always working on further developing the game, so the information presented in this video is subject to change. Now that we're on the same page, let's get going. The main idea behind these improvements is to soften the overall impact of aircraft spotting and make AA defenses more effective, all while keeping aircraft carriers relevant in battle.
They promised the
Players can test
same
new mechanics on a dedicated server from July 29th through August 5th.
Same exact
let's
same
get
promises
into
as
the new
5
carrier
years ago.
gameplay. Currently, carriers operate in one state that has the same rules for spotting, attacking, and etc. However, in this iteration, similarly to the concept we introduced initially, planes will operate at low and high altitudes, represented by 3 distinct modes: travel mode, attack mode, and recon mode. Travel mode is optimal for moving across the map, as it enables flight at high altitudes and maximum speed, out of reach of AA. You can't spot
I hate that, by the way. I hate that. Because, like, if you're these surface guys, if you're these guys, you're constantly like, oh shit, is he gonna attack? Is he gonna go in for an attack? Like, you don't know. You can't even prevent him from, like, just going up and lining up an attack on someone. He's just immune to AA, and because they're surface spotted, like...
is optimal for moving across the map.
Man, I
enables
hate
flight
this.
at high
You're gonna have to
altitudes
blow
and
so many consumables, just what if he goes in for an attack?
maximum speed, out of reach of AA. You can't spot opponents while you're in the safety of travel mode, but you can still see enemies spotted by your teammates. When it comes to attack mode, you activate it by clicking the left mouse button as before, but there are several key differences. The attack doesn't start right away. The plane will first descend to a lower altitude before the actual attack begins. What's more,
So how much was gap timer was that? So when you see him go for an attack, he instantly gets spotted. Like the second you go for an
button
attack,
as before, but there are several key
instantly gets
differences.
spotted.
The attack doesn't
What, 4.6?
start right away. The plane will first descend to a lower altitude before the actual attack begins.
So what, 5 seconds? 5 seconds. Shit. Is that really it? 5 seconds. Yeah, it's 5 seconds, isn't it?
The attack doesn't start right away.
5-6 seconds before you
The
can
plane
attack.
will first descend
So,
to a lower altitude
You can go from
before the
complete
actual attack begins.
for rocket planes,
What's
yeah.
more, at lower altitudes, aircraft
So-
can be targeted by AA, but with
So from
reduced initial
complete
damage.
AA
Another thing to
immunity
keep in
to
mind
suddenly attacking you in 6 seconds.
is that the attack mode involves one attacking
And then
flight.
back to immunity again. And then straight back to immunity again.
While the rest
Oh,
of the
I'm getting a
squadron
bad
loiters
feeling
in
from
the
this.
safety
Oh,
of
I'm getting
high
a really bad
altitudes.
feeling from this.
Aircraft destroyed in attack mode won't be
And he
replaced.
was he still immune to
Fine.
damage while going for the attack? Did they keep that in the game?
AA, but
Yeah, he
targeted
stops taking damage. The second he goes for the attack, he stops taking damage. So at what? So he takes reduced damage here.
Wait.
Reduced damage,
Plane
reduced
will
damage,
first
reduced
descend
damage.
to a lower altitude
And now goes for the attack.
before the actual attack begins.
And now what?
What's
He's
more,
immune.
At lower altitudes, aircraft
Now
can
he's
be
immune
targeted
to all
by
damage
AA,
again.
but with reduced initial
Attacks.
damage. Another thing to keep
And
in mind
instantly
is that
back into
attack
travel
mode
mode, so immune to all damage again.
involves one attacking flight, while the rest of the squadron loiters in the safety of high altitudes. Aircraft destroyed in attack mode won't be replaced. finally,
Yo.
there's a recon mode, which is for spotting enemies. You can activate it by pressing Q in travel mode. You'll make a brief descent to lower altitudes where you can perform reconnaissance, but with some risk, as you'll become vulnerable to AA fire. If you spot an enemy...
What about, they don't mention it, they don't include it in the test. What about Nakimov? Like, that goes in for single attacks. Because Nakimov, there's a thing there where if you're attacking squadron in World of Warships, you take reduced damage. The attacking squad always takes reduced damage. So, is Nakimov gonna have, like, immunity while traveling to the target, then goes in with reduced damage, lines up with reduced damage, starts the attack run, becomes immune, strikes, and then disappear? Like...
While in recon mode, you can start an attack directly if you want to. Just know that you won't be able to dive in and out of recon mode freely, as there are some limitations in place. Primarily, I'm talking about the countdown timer that runs down while in recon mode, and once it runs out, your aircraft will automatically send...
How long after the strike was the ship spotted? Oh, that's a good question.
What's more, at lower altitudes, aircraft can be targeted by AA.
I mean, he's surface spotted now, so we can't tell. We can't tell.
Another thing to keep in mind is that the attack mode involves
He was surface
one
spotted,
attack
so
in
we can't
flight,
tell.
reconnaissance, but with some risk, as you'll become vulnerable to AA fire. If you spot an enemy while in recon mode, you can start an attack directly if you want to. Just know that you won't be able to dive in and out of recon mode freely, as there are some limitations in place. Primarily, I'm talking about the countdown timer that runs down while in recon mode, and once it runs out, your aircraft will automatically ascend to travel mode. Additionally, activating recon mode will reserve a specific portion of time from the timer. If you return to travel mode prematurely by pressing Q again, or choose to attack, this time will be lost. However, if the timer simply runs out, the reserved time will become available to you again. There's even more...
The more I watch this, the more I get the idea that the CV is going to dictate every part of every engagement. Like, he has the full control of what happens, and all you got as a surface ship is hopes and dreams and prayers. Like, it feels like every card has been given to the carriers, and the surface ships are just like playing random cards, hoping for the best. Let's play the defensive AA card and hope he goes for me. Oh, he didn't go for me, he went somewhere else. But I have to pop it at a 7 km range, otherwise it won't make it blind him. Like, it's... There's... And then the fact that they can just dip in and out of the immunity thing is...
Carrier players. When you're not flying aircraft, you'll be able to manually control your carrier's secondary guns and activate the damage control party consumable yourself. If your carrier is equipped with mixed...
8 km range. I see an 8 km range there. I see an 8 km range there. You see that? 8 km. So like, maybe that's the secondary range? I don't know what this 15.6 km range is though.
It operates as before. Moving on to surface ship...
That's ASW. Wait, so they actually gave them 15.6 km range and they're like, this is fine? Oh yeah, you're right. It is ASW, isn't it? That's ASW. So this is... Oh god, that's the...
Moving on to surface ship changes, which are designed to boost their anti-aircraft defenses. For starters, the priority sector is being renamed to Manual AA, and it's getting some improvements. Manual AA will cover the entire AA area around the ship, and deal burst damage to enemy planes within its range, but it will no longer increase AA damage in general. Now something to help ships that come under rather frustrating constant and focused plane attacks: automatic AA. As your AA defenses fire, a progress bar will charge irreversibly. Once it reaches 100%, it will activate several damage and cooldown bonuses for several minutes. The last changes on our list apply to the defensive AA fire consumable, which provides a boost to AA range and damage. Now it has an additional cool feature. If enemy planes fly into the expanded AA range, they will completely lose their spotting capabilities. This only works if you activate defensive AA fire preemptively, and not in a reaction to planes already being in your standard AA range.
A standard AA range. So it needs to be in standard AA range. So won't this give an advantage to ships that have defensive AA but low range? So you don't need to pop it at 7 km, then standard AA range. So if you have defensive AA, but you got very low AA range, you get a bigger benefit out of it. Because you can pop it before they reach the standard range and then expand it to 7. Why is this shit so complicated? Anything to avoid giving us minimap spotting, man. Anything to avoid that.
Keep in mind that the aircraft can still see you if other enemies do the spotting. And one more additional bonus. This consumable also boosts the progress of automatic AA. If you want to know more, visit our website. Please like and subscribe and share your thoughts about these changes in the comments.
Yeah, I already saw those. Okay. Well, we will play this tomorrow. We will check this out tomorrow for sure. We will play this tomorrow on the test server, but man, I can't help but feel that this is so incredibly needlessly convoluted. When they could have just given us one thing that the player base asked for. And that's already implemented in the game. Like, we see it every cyclone, we see it every time someone radars. It's already a part of the game. And it could have been so easily implemented. And instead, all of that. And I don't even want to know how much development resources they've tied up into all of that. And how much fine-tuning and fixing they're going to have to do to fix all the various issues, bugs and balance issues and so forth. And I can't even say that it looks in any way better than what we have now, because the whole travel mode immunity into reduce damage while striking, into a brief window where you actually take damage, into attack immunity, into back into immunity. Like, there's so many immunity sectors there. I got a really bad feeling about this, honestly. I got a really bad feeling about this. This looks like another Wargaming rework, and I'm really worried about it.